it's really nice to get back.
Playing against Beto in the grand finals is really hype for me, and I think for us that we always had last placement, like top 1, top 2, top 3, like fights between them and Betboom. So and I really like this team. I really like Nightfall and all the players. So yeah, I look forward to playing against them.
They drag him back in. Pure, they decrepit by the heels. Thompson trying his best to keep Pure alive, but Thompson's gone down. The tideway brings the match. Easy is called. Betboom will be moving on straight to the grand final.
Winning Betboom and winning this whole tournament means a lot to me. I want to just win every tournament. It doesn't matter who I'm beating in the end. I just want to win tournaments and beat anybody.
We are gonna win against Falcons because our mid player way better than their mid player. His pool is it's over for him. Patch now it's meta, but not his heroes, so he's gonna suck. So it's gonna be easy for us. Yeah.
The Gararan final against Betboom. I'd say we always destroy them. I don't think this is something new for us, even though we were in the lower bracket and the upper. Easy for us.
It is grand finals time here in Birmingham. Betboom and Team Falcons, they're going head-to-head in one best-of-5 to determine who is the champion here of the first LAN of 2024. And we are moments away from getting the draft started. I'm joined by Jenkins, Effie, and we have a guest on panel, Saberlight. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm super freaking let's go!
Let's go! Birmingham's ready for you as well. I always get goosebumps with those openings. How are you? Are you good?
Yeah, I am super excited.
Yeah?
2 super strong teams,
Yeah.
Falcons, Betboom. I'm excited to see who takes it.
I am excited for that as well, and because we're so close to the draft, I do have to get into the nitty-gritty of things, Jenkins, because we've heard it from Falcons just now. They came in here without prep, without scrims, and they're we don't know if we're going to be with our full roster. They get their full roster, and it has been the official games that were the scrims, basically. So how have you seen their pattern change over the course, and what are you expecting from them in this game 1?
Well, they've started drafting some different heroes. They're no longer just first picking the Amar Doom. They're getting him offlane anti-mage, late pick, things like that. So they've clearly figured some stuff out in the draft. But I think a lot of that goes back to the attitude of this team. Amar was talking about it in one of his interviews where he said something along the lines of I don't care if we win. I just want to play our best Dota. And then if we do lose, I can learn something from the team that we lose to. And I think that's a real championship mindset. As long as you don't suck, that's a championship mindset.
It only works when you're doing well for yourself, I think, Effie.
Yeah, it does, but honestly, all of Falcons players are so good that even if they don't come prepared, it's the same patch, right? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, it's the same heroes that are good. They've already shown us that their flexes are exceptionally good, better than any other team in how they flex their heroes, and they've even surprised us. They started flexing their Doom to mid. 2 times they flexed it to mid. Earlier today in the lower bracket finals, and yesterday they flexed it to mid and they last picked the Mars for Amar, and it turned out incredibly well. So even though people know how this team is going to draft and all of their heroes are telegraphed, they are still surprising us with the way that they are setting up their lanes.
Yeah, Saberlight, do you feel like Betboom, I mean, you've seen their success and their struggles, I think also over the last couple of years, couple of months maybe even as well. This is a team that I would imagine as a player, you see them do well. What do you think is holding them back from taking a title, even though they came so close so many times?
It's hard to say, because I feel like Betboom is the type of team that is very stable. They're very execution oriented. They will do their thing and they will do it really well. For Falcons, they kind of have this magic. I feel like getting the visa late and then, the guy coming to the tournament anyways, and then going through the, more or less entire lower bracket, it just, it hypes you up. It makes you feel really good. So, I mean, we'll see if they have some idea against this Betboom playstyle, which I know AY is a very smart coach, so I'm sure he has something prepared.
And because it's on the same patch, because these 2 teams, of course, faced each other in a grand finals for the previous Dream League Season 22, and it was a 3-0 in favor of Falcons. But do you feel like, even though the patch didn't change, the Dota has changed since then? Because, obviously, we only see the patch numbers, but for pros, it looks very different, I think.
Yeah, I think even when there's like long periods of time with no patch, it kind of develops. Like we start to see new heroes. Maybe not so much in the for Falcons because they like they like their free heroes on Amar and on Marine, but I think they have like some new ideas. I also think there is like a different meta in grand finals where kind of the Dota goes out the window and you just kind of play this one team and you do your best.
What do you mean? Is it because of the best of 5 or is it because of the crowd?
Both. Okay, guys. I'm gonna be honest. From playing on the stage, like you have to stop leaking. The crowd needs to stop leaking. You're very loud. You know when someone's doing Roche and the crowd's like yippee Roche. It's like, oh guys, I think they're doing Roche. So it's actually a little bit different. Like playing Dota normally and playing Dota on stage.
What do you think about about the cheering that is not for anything, you know, gameplay related? We sometimes cheer because there's a kobold that likes his drinks, and maybe that helps with swaying them.
The false positive kobold. Dude, whoever came up with true genius is competitive integrity and a good meme at the same time.
Yeah, have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Good.
Have you been drinking?
No, guys.
No comment?
I could not.
Okay.
Water only and Monster. Yippee!
There
You know
go.
who's been drinking, guys? The cup of victory. I would say BetBoom have looked super good recently. Like Saberlight mentioned, they're a very execution-oriented team, and honestly, they have stood out so much when it comes to these late-game team fights. They really, really know their late game very well, so I'm curious what kind of approach Falcons will take. Do they want to take BetBoom to the late game, or do they want to just try to run them over as early as they can?
I have something so tangential that it probably shouldn't be mentioned in a grand finals panel, but it's really funny. I want to talk about it.
Okay.
BetBoom accidentally picked Lifestealer.
Yes.
And Falcons denied the fucking Aegis.
Yes.
These teams are in the grand finals and they have the two biggest blunders of the tournament that have happened. That to me just goes to show like how much pressure there is whenever you're in front of a crowd, whenever you're at a LAN, that stuff like that can happen and then they still win.
That is true. I mean, they didn't win the Lifestealer.
No, they didn't, but they win the series.
They
Yeah.
won this.
But they actually looked so good in that game, and that just shows that if you give BetBoom a certain set of heroes, then you have to be a little bit scared, because even though they had this griefing Lifestealer pick from the offlane, they had GPK on that Coddle, and GPK has looked like the best Coddle in this entire tournament. So I would be very surprised if Falcons just gives it away freely today.
It's also funny that one team is playing the offlane Lifestealer and the other team is playing the offlane AM. But somehow the aim is...
The aim is not griefing in the Lifestealers. Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Very, very true. And as you can see, the draft has begun. It's on your screens. Game 1 of best of 5. We got Falcons on the Radiant side with second pick, and therefore overall last pick. A nice strategic advantage there. BetBoom is a first pick, and Dire side. Don't forget that their fourth pick overall will be also a strategic pick from them.
Oh, there's the
Here's
Coddle.
where it goes.
All right.
And instantly, indeed, the GPK Keeper of the Light or Flex pick.
I wanted to ask you, Saber Chat, about the Coddle. Like at the start of the tournament, we saw a lot of Zeus mid, and then some response pick Coddle where you just kind of like up the tempo, play really fast, win between like the 5 to 10 minute mark, gank all the lanes before Zeus could respond. Zeus fell off, then Coddle fell off. What is with this hero? Is this a good hero or is it not?
I really like it, especially in GPK's hands. I feel like it's like his special hero. Just farm so fast, you can kill anywhere on the map. You can like 1v5 the game and on Coddle. And it's also funny if you look at the draft for Team Falcons, they banned 4 heroes that are like Enigma and Chen are the Zoo against BetBoom, who really like their Zoo. Miro is like a Zoo specialist.
He's the one Zoo guy right now.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas for BetBoom, they ban all the flexes. Pango, Kunkka, and Dragon Knight, all the like Amar, Marine specialties. And both teams take their like main hero straight away, which I feel like that's like it kind of develops during the tournament where you just want to play your hero and you don't really care about counterpicking that much.
Yeah, and you'll often see that if they give away a hero, I mean, when you're thinking about Falcons, Razor is often in the first phase, but if you're giving away the Razor, it's because you're considering other heroes too. But if BetBoom happen to lose to it, or vice versa, Falcons lose to the Coddle, you're going to see that banned out in the next phase. And that's what Saber means about these Grand Finals metas developing, because it does feel like a process from the start to the finish, where the ideas that you had coming into a series just change entirely by the end of it.
Very true. We got, after those 3 bans mentioned the flex pick from BetBoom, they ban out the supports because We do still have quite a few high-profile supports in, but now Shadow Demon and Oracle removed. I feel like I have to mention the Hoodwink. That is, for me, the obvious one that is still left in Jenkins. Is that a hero that you'll think we'll see a lot during this best of 5? Because I feel like, especially in Crit's hands, but also on the side of Bedboom, it has just been that strong.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like Crit is just very comfortable on it. Falcons likes to play these supports where they can win any lane by just like poking you. Like I feel like a Hoodwink plus any melee offlaner, which pretty much all the Amar offlaners other than this one is like a melee offlaner, you're going to win against any counterpick. And that's what lets them do their, we're just going to first pick Amar's hero. So I would say like, yeah, the Hoodwink and Mirana, like these heroes are always super good for them.
10 seconds.
I do like Mirana for Falcons. It just feels like they play the heroes so well. And when a team plays versus Coddle, the approach is either one of two things. One, you're bringing all of the pain to the mid lane with some Shadow Demon Mirana roaming combo, or you just get heroes that can jump on the Coddle early on. Heroes that have a means to gap close on it and kill it before it just hits all of its timings and kills side lanes.
I would like to see a Tiny here from Bedboom. I feel like it's extremely good with the Coddle. You can refresh his nukes. You can jump and kill the Hoodwink very easily, full to 0. They go for the Enchantress. That's the... Usually they will pair this with a Tiny or some sort of melee support, Tiny Tusk sort of thing.
Yeah, you need a hero that kind of enables this Coddle mid. They decided to go with the Tiny. Very good call, Jenkins. Because then I feel like the meta kind of developed where it's a lot of fighting middle, where both teams bring their supports. I think Gaiman were the one who like started kind of doing this. Now everybody does it where you just bring your supports. There's going to be Tiny, there's going to be Ench with a creep and a Coddle blasting you, and it becomes very difficult to both control the runes and to defend your tower.
How is Mirana in terms of responding to the Ench tempo? Like, is killing the creep with the arrow that important against this hero?
It is a viable option. I think Mirana is not a bad hero. You kind of need some other stun to set up the arrow in the mid game. So they could take Mirana and then pick a mid or off lane that like synergizes well with the arrow.
I think the issue with Mirana would be you're then picking Hoodwink plus Mirana, who aren't really good heroes at catching out Coddle, and they are heroes that will suffer. It feels like it would be a little bit easier if there's more of a reliable stun coming out of Falcons for
like
Coddle.
Mirana Mars, something like that. Like usually you're right, like they'll pick it with the DK, something along those lines. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, this is the meta from yesterday for Team Falcons.
This is very long range from Falcons. Like, if you look at these heroes, they're just going to be excellent at poking, excellent at like picking and choosing their vision and taking the fights.
Yeah.
But still, they don't have that gap close that we talked about for the Coddle. So while it is a different take, and it's a highly aggressive take, I could easily see it going the other way if GPK gets off to a good start on the Coddle and just gets a couple of kills early on.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by this style of drafting from Falcons. I mean, it makes sense. They kind of just pick heroes that they believe in, like the Snaking Venomancer, and Weaver somehow like became a really strong hero in the later portions of the tournament. So they don't necessarily counter like Coddle per se, but I think their idea is that they just want to do their thing and execute their strat, and it's going to be stronger than the Bedboom strat.
It does seem like they want to win side lanes, right? When you're picking Veno Weaver, that's a highly aggressive side lane, especially when you look at a support like Tiny that does suffer when it gets scaled. But then here comes Miro's Visage. We talked about his summons heroes. This hero synergizes very well with Tiny, but I want to hear it from you, Serverlight, since you are the offlane player.
Yeah, I really like this lane for Bedboom. I think Visage is really nice against range heroes, especially once you get level 6.